Today, we're talking about gear. So I've been doing photography for over 3 years now, and I've been making videos for even longer than that. And I've came across a lot of gear for this amount of time. So today, we're gonna take a look at what gear I use, and does gear really matter? Let's go! So let's start with the camera. I use the Sony a7S Mark II. This is quite of an expensive camera, but it is on the cheap side of filmmaking, but it is one of the top side of photography. Actually, no. It's not the best photography camera since it only has 12 megapixels, but I can work with that. I chose this camera in the mindset that I wanted to make better movies. I was really into, filming parkour and doing short movies and filming for YouTube, and I really wanted a camera that could do slow motion. So I got the Sony a7S because it could film 120 frames per second in 1080p, so full frame, not full frame, but full HD in slow motion. And then, I had all of the amazing ISO, so I could go up to ISO 3200 and not have any grain. So I chose this camera for a really specific purpose because it suits my filmmaking. Did I say 3200? I mean 32,000. Yeah. I also love this camera because it has S-Log. So with S-Logs, it gives me this really flat profile. By the way, I'm using P8 with Cine 4, so it's not as flat, but it gives me just a better contrast and less ISO, because when you use S-Log 2, your native ISO is 1600, but if I put the Cine 4 on it, I can go down to 200, so less grain, better image, the best for filmmaking. So when I first got this camera, I only had Canon lenses because I was switching from Canon to Sony, so the first thing that I bought was an adapter for my Canon glass to this Sony body. So with this adapter, I'm keeping my autofocus and my control over my aperture, so it lets me keep all of the electronics of my lens, which is great, and I love that because then my lens is not like a dummy. It's fully automatic. But now I don't really use it because I sold all of my Canon glass for Sony glass. So the first Sony glass that I got is a 50mm 1.8, or the Nifty 50. But in the Sony world, nothing is really nifty because this glass cost me $350 instead of the 100 bucks from Canon. So yeah, Sony, you should probably work on that. I love this lens because this is my first lens that I got for Sony because in that time I was taking more pictures than videos, so I would love to take portraits, and this is great for portraits. It's just a great lens to have for no matter what you do. This is a great lens. 1.8 gives you a nice bokeh when you take pictures. Even when you're filming, even though it doesn't have IS, it's still a great lens. The next lens that I got was actually a zoom lens because I needed something versatile, so I got basically a kit lens, the 2870 from Sony again. Great lens when you're starting off. You need a wide stuff or a zoom lens. This is great because it does both, so 28 to 70, and it's really a versatile lens. So I used it a lot during my trip to Martinique. It was basically my main lens for a while now because I had so much versatility with it. But now that I got a new lens, I barely touch it. Since it is a kit lens, I don't really use it that much because it doesn't give me the specific thing that I wanted. It's a really good backup lens though. It's always in my bag, ready for a backup if I forget any other stuff. So my third lens that I got is actually not a Sony lens, but a Rokinon lens. So the third lens that I got was actually a wide lens because I needed something wide for landscape photography. So I decided to go cheap and go with the Rokinon 14mm 2.8. This lens is fully manual, the focus and the aperture. What I love about it is that it has an aperture of 2.8, which is really cool since, it's a pretty wide lens, so 2.8 is really, really nice to have when, you do like star photography and stuff like that. It's really nice. But I mainly got it because I needed something wide to capture the grandiosity, is that a word? It's a word. Of nature, whenever I go on trips, this is the main thing that I do on my Instagram. I take just a wide shot of whatever I can find. Why you die on me now? So this is a great lens to have whenever you want something cheap, you want something really good. Even for filming, this is great when you do housework. So when you want to do a film for a house, how is that called? Real estate videos. That is a great lens to have. Finally, the most recent lens that I got is a 1635 f4 from Zeiss, or Sony Zeiss. I got that lens because this is a lens that I wanted for a really long time. I really wanted a 1635 because I think it's a really good versatile lens to just, be wide but also be kind of close to your subject. I love it for vlogging since it's wide, it's close, I can change the aperture fairly easily actually. Even though it's an f4, I kind of want the f2.8, but the Sony 2.8 is extremely expensive, like out of this world expensive. And that's one thing that I hate about Sony, is that they have really expensive gear. But I just love it so much, but it's so expensive. So it's kind of a love-hate situation here, kind of like with my ex. Huh. But this lens is great on a Steadicam, on a tripod, for photography. It is my new just favorite lens that I use all the time. To be honest, I rarely use my Rokinon anymore because, well, I mean, I have the 16 now. I don't really need to go to 14. You know, it's only 2 millimeters wider, and the only reason why I would use this one is for the 2.8, which I rarely need. So this is what I mainly use now. So to stay on the topic of cameras and not to go into tripods and stuff yet, I do have another camera that I use sometimes. I rarely use it at this time, but I'm planning to use it even more now, and that's a drone. I have the DJI Mavic Pro. Now, I don't use the drone often. This is why you don't really see pictures on Instagram or videos on my, well, YouTube, but that's a great tool to use whenever you're on a trip, whenever you need something aerial shot. I literally love to fly this thing. It's a really fun thing to do, but there's just so many laws and restrictions that it's kind of hard to know when you can and cannot use it. And especially when you're traveling, you know, every country has different laws. You know, United States have the FFA that you have to register through. Canada has another thing. Now I'm in Norway, so it's other laws. So I rarely fly it, but I'm planning to fly it more just when I'm traveling, when I'm going to the coast where there's not that many people. I can just fly it in the nature and have a beautiful shot like this. So something that I really wanted to get before making YouTube videos was good audio. I really wanted to have a good setup for my first video. So, you know, I got my lights, I got my camera, but one thing that people forget is good audio. And audio is the key for good videos because people register audio before visual. When I first started making videos, I didn't have any money to buy a big audio mic and stuff like that. So what I got was a little lav mic. So this is something that you just strap onto your shirt or something, and it records to your phone, and that's what I was using. Or you can also make it record to like a Zoom H1 or another kind of external recorder. When I made a bit more money, when I got a job, I bought a new Rode mic, and that's the Rode VideoMic Pro that I'm using right now. I love this mic because it's the one that I mainly use, of course, but also because it gives you really clear audio. Now onto the fun part, the stabilization, because you need stable footage, because who likes shaky footage, right? I got this way too early in my career, if I have a career, and that's a Ronin M. I wanted to have that for really stable footage, and since I had the money to buy it, I was like, hey, you know, I want that. That looks cool. I need stable footage for no reason. Yeah, I do admit I got that way too early when I started making videos, and even now I don't really use it that much. When I have contracts, that's when I use it the most. So whenever I shoot a music video like this one, or if I just shoot something for me, I always try to bring it with me, but that's a really hefty and big thing to bring. So whenever I'm going on a trip, I usually never bring it because I usually backpack, and that in a backpack takes a lot of space. But it is a great way to just have stable footage. So whenever I go into town, I bring it. When I have a special idea for a follow shot, I will have it with me. So this is basically all the gear that I use to take pictures and make my videos. I believe that since I have all of this now, I can make the best video that I can possibly make. So I have right now no reason to not make great content. And this brings on the question, does gear matter? A friend of mine over Instagram, Refined Moment, actually addresses this topic in one of his videos. I do suggest that you watch it. It's a great video. To summarize it though, in his video he says that gear does matter for making great pictures. And I don't fully agree to this opinion. See, does gear matter? Well, it depends on how you look at it. What is the context? Does gear matter for slow motion videos? Of course, because you need a camera that can shoot 120 FPS minimum to make a slow motion video. Sure, you can film 60 FPS, but then it's not the best slow motion, and if you film something that goes incredibly fast, you need a phantom camera like the slow-mo guys. But if we're talking, does gear matter to make great content, great photos? No. You see, what makes a great photo and video is things like composition, the storytelling, what emotion brings this picture to the viewer. And all of this, sure, it can do a lot with the gear that you use, what can your gear allow you to do, but it's also, is the content that you put out original? Is it really thoughtful? And that's not what gear can bring you. Gear cannot bring you great ideas. Gear can only bring you ways to formulate this idea into screen. Right now, a lot of cameras can film 1080p, Full HD, even 4K. And does 4K really matter? I don't think so, because 4K doesn't help you make a really good video. It helps you have a good quality, of course. And that's what people need to think. See, even me, I have all of this great gear. Are my videos really good? I believe not. I think that my videos are way here at the beginner's level. I make stuff that is potential, that has potential, but it's not great for the gear that I have. I see people with gear that is less good than me. Wow, that made no sense. I see people with T3Is and just cheap gear making amazing videos and amazing photos, and that's all because they think everything through. They think the lighting, they find ways to work with what they got just to be able to show the story that they want. And that's what is important, the story. What do you want to show the audience? So does gear really matter? It's really up to what you want to show. So I hope you guys liked that video. If you did, I would have really appreciated if you could watch it again and just give me that views, because you know I need that YouTube money to buy me new gear. Just kidding. Just give me a thumbs up. That would be awesome. And let me know in the comments what kind of gear that you use and what gear means to you. In the meantime, you can always go check my Instagram, because I mean, I think I take great pictures. I mean, okay pictures. I mean, I'm not the best in the world. I am. What? So also let me know in the comments what you want to see me do, film, make. And yeah, this is it for me today. And have a good one. Peace out.